When regulations are too stringent, it really kills innovation. Hong Kong quite a strong regulatory framework that allows innovation and regulations to go hand in hand. Innovation really leads us to a better future, and therefore we should enable innovation to happen.
We all talk about AI when it comes to innovation.
The power of AI can lead to much enhancement of efficiency and accuracy for the industry. The downside is that we ought to think about the impact on talent demand. Hong Kong has developed itself into leading digital asset hub. We work closely with the government and the regulator to come up with a strategy. Blockchain technology, or DLT, will be here to stay, and it might very well be the financial infrastructure for the future of finance.
Welcome to the Pulse Check podcast. Rocky Tung.
Salomon, very good to meet you.
Good to meet you. You're Director and Head of Policy Administration at the Financial Services Development Council. Mm-hmm. We've done some work together, worked in specific working groups, one in insuretech, so it's always been a pleasure to partner up. That's great. And first time now on our podcast. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So before, as you know, we go into specific details, I always ask the same icebreaker. Rocky, what makes you, anything special about you?
Thank you very much again for having me. We partner with a lot of people. I guess, the nature of being a people person really defines what Rocky Tung is. Growing up in Hong Kong, I have lived abroad, studied in the US, and I have friends and partners from across the world. So that really makes me who I am. And as a matter of fact, when people ask me how I should define myself, in recent years I would tell them, I'm a runner. I only picked up running from 7 years ago, but I have been devoted to it on a daily basis. So I would define myself as a runner with that as a hobby.
Good to meet another fellow runner, as I'm also into it. And you have a marathon coming up?
Yes, I do. The next one will be on November 2nd. I will be flying to Hangzhou for it. It's my first time running a marathon in Chinese mainland. So that is going to be quite interesting. I heard that the sceneries there would be quite beautiful. I really look forward to it.
Yeah, Hangzhou, beautiful. I've always wanted to go there, and especially for a marathon. I'm sure that's going to be exciting. So once again, thank you for being here, and would love to talk to you, of course, about your role, and especially also Financial Services Development Council.
For sure.
As part of course, Hong Kong regulatory departments, you specifically work on the policy research. Maybe you can quickly elaborate how you do that, and also how you work with other industry leaders as well as consultancies in developing policy research.
Absolutely. So the Financial Service Development Council was established by the Hong Kong SAR government back in 2013 as a high-level cross-sectoral advisory body to the government itself. Now, advisory body may sound a little vague to the others, but in short, we try to come up with policy recommendations for the government and regulators' consideration. Noting that Hong Kong has already established quite a few regulations on securities and futures related activities, banking related activities, insurance related activities and whatnot, we don't really need to come up with new regulations on a daily basis. But we do have to review some of these policies from time to time, and also when new opportunities emerged, then we need to see and consider how best we can come up with regulations to not let the industry go astray. Now, with that in mind, we need to work very closely with all the top practitioners and executives. For that, they are the ones on the front line. dealing with businesses on a day-to-day basis. They actually know the industry a lot better than most of us. And also they would, just like Synpulse, would have a presence in not only Hong Kong but also the other markets. So that kind of international knowledge would allow us to tap into the arena of the entire industry, not only here in Hong Kong. And as a result, we solicit feedback via some research projects, and that kind of projects would inform us and allowed us to come up with new thoughts for the government's consideration.
Interesting. And I mean, especially now when it comes to Hong Kong's regulatory environment, how do you see the evolving support from the government towards its global footprint in terms of financial services, especially also insuretech and fintech?
So perhaps I can start off by saying that Hong Kong has long been a long-established international financial hub. So it comes down to not only banking but also capital markets related activities and also the insurance side of things. Capital markets involves a very wide range of stakeholders. It's not only people dealing with IPOs. A lot of people would associate capital market activities to primary markets activities, and that is allowing private companies to go public by raising money and allowing investors to invest in them. Now, capital markets is way beyond that. So you think about, obviously IPO would be one aspect, but also the issuance of debt products, fixed income products. There's also a range of exchange traded products. Those would be the areas that are the forte of Hong Kong. It's really the strengths of Hong Kong. And also Hong Kong, as I mentioned, is also very dealing with the banking activities quite often. And, we have close to 160 banks with the presence in Hong Kong. These banks are not only local, but with headquarters from the other markets, including the mainland and overseas market. So that kind of presence is very important because it brings the best practice from different parts of the world and their network to Hong Kong, and they will also allow the investors from this part of the world to look into opportunities in the other side of the world. So the last bit of it I want to highlight is in terms of the presence of insurance industry. This is sometimes and most of the time the least developed in developing countries. An economy needs to reach a certain stage of development for its people to have the money to care about investing for the future, or assuring the risk would not lead to some uncertainties to the future. So that's the concept of insurance, right? And therefore, even though Hong Kong has the one of the highest intensity of insurance penetration, a lot of the developing countries in this part of the world, in Asia, has not reached that stage yet. But it is reaching that stage. And as a result, Hong Kong can offer a lot of assistance to, first off, the ultra high net worth individuals in those countries. And secondly, as these countries developed their regulatory framework, as these countries developed their industry, Hong Kong can also offer assistance in that regard. So those would be the key highlights of Hong Kong's International Financial Center offering. If I may talk a little bit about the regulatory area as well, I think Hong Kong is by its own standard and by international standard, having quite a strong regulatory framework that allows innovation and regulations to go hand in hand. Sometimes, when regulations are too stringent, then it really kills innovation. But Hong Kong does employ the mindset that, we shouldn't kill innovation. Innovation really leads us to a better future. And therefore, we should enable innovation to happen in Hong Kong. At the same time, investors may not be as knowledgeable about the innovation and technology embedded in the innovative products. Now, it is when regulations come into play, and regulations have to stand pretty firm to protect investors' interests. So that would be the mindset of Hong Kong's regulatory framework, as like if I can put it in simple terms.
Thanks for sharing, Rocky. I mean, you talk a lot about innovation, and of course, today we all talk about AI when it comes to innovation, which is rapidly transforming the insurance value chain, all the way from underwriting to the claims process. What are some of the use cases you see in Hong Kong or the region?
Absolutely. We actually just had a really good meeting earlier today as we talked about the influence of AGI or AI in general having an impact on the financial services industry and not only the insurance industry. But in short, we can see that the artificial intelligence has been in existence for a very long time, but it hasn't been used popularly or commonly by financial institutions in the past. And however, in the last couple of years, especially in the DeepSeek moment earlier in 2025, we noticed that the power of AI can lead to much enhancement of efficiency and accuracy for the industry. And as a result, as you already mentioned, the insurance industry has adopted AI in a way or the other to enhance the process and accuracy and efficiency of the underwriting and claim procedures. Now, how is it going to bring about impact? Well, of course, on the one side, the good thing is about improved efficiency. The downside is that we ought to think about the impact on talent demand, both in terms of quantity and quality. So this is a big topic that is going to be explored within our community, and it is something that leading international financial market like Hong Kong should be thinking about.
On the other hand, Hong Kong always has the challenge of not enough talent. While there is great talent in Hong Kong, but given the high demand and due to growth, there's never enough talent. So maybe it even helps a bit with the AI efficiency, and of course then upskilling the talents we have.
Absolutely.
How do you see it also maybe in collaboration with the mainland China? Because you mentioned the DeepSeek moment. There's a lot of technology advancements. We see recently also tech companies like Alibaba investing heavily into AI. Does this help also Hong Kong as a financial services hub?
Yes, absolutely. So one of the key benefits of Hong Kong or key positioning of Hong Kong is that while Hong Kong is a very international city that exercises common law and it's recognized by over 100 jurisdictions around the world, it actually is blessed with the technology input and also wealth and also population size of mainland China. So that is, as what you mentioned, like major conglomerates investing in AI, and obviously that is not going to be applicable only on the mainland, but also here in Hong Kong and the other places. And what is going to be important is in relation to the data privacy law and how data is being assessed across different markets. But this is an area that is not only troubling or concerned here in this market. You think about the leading markets of the US and like in Europe, etc. You see cross-border data being a subject being discussed from the last 15-20 years. So as we progress toward a more technology-driven economy, I think this is something that is going to be brought up quite regularly going forward. Now, to Hong Kong, obviously we are seeing a lot of there are outcries. There have been outcries of acute talent shortage, but it is not only on the sheer number. Hong Kong is a city of 7.5 million people. And we have close to 4 million people in the workforce. Now, what it means in terms of acute labor shortage is that finding the right job, for the right job to locate the right talent, this is a subject that a lot of the industry leaders have been calling for, how to better match the demand for skills with the supply of skills. In our report published back in March 2025 about the insurance industry, which Synpulse is part of, the working group, we identified the people with actuarial science background being one of those areas where we face quite a bit of shortage. And to that end, we do believe that the presence of other Greater Bay Area cities, especially with the fact that Hong Kong universities do have presence in the Greater Bay Area. So we raised a question whether or not we can offer actuarial science as a subject, at least in those schools with Hong Kong elements. We also spoke to a lot of the others, a lot of the other universities who have professors from overseas universities, leading universities, and they are also developing the curricula for domestic universities on the mainland. So we do believe that the supply and demand for labor will be better matched going forward, hopefully within the next 3 to 5 years.
Which is interesting, as you mentioned now, the Greater Bay Area. For us, we open up an office in Shenzhen to also tap on that talent market. And when it comes to engineering, that's really, you said it before, 4 million working force in Hong Kong, but the moment you have an office in Shenzhen, you have access to, of course, tenfold of that and really good talents, really hungry talents. So it's interesting, of course, also in terms of the universities, if you can collaborate and see that then also specific skills are being taught and trained. So that's a very good element. So now, in terms of forward-looking, do you see some key trends in insuretech and also fintech in financial market in general?
Yes. I think in general, Hong Kong applies the mindset or the development of regulatory mindset in Hong Kong would be that it is the same activity, same risk, then same regulations. So we do believe it is necessary to have that mindset in mind and then apply it across different disciplines. And this is what we are very proud of, is the principle-based approach. And that gives businesses certainty. As Hong Kong has developed itself into a leading digital asset hub in this part of the world, Hong Kong should consider how best our insurance industry can offer assistance to the Web3 players that are already established, that have already established presence here in Hong Kong. Now, besides that, we are also seeing an uptick in the development of technology or employment of technology here in Hong Kong by the establishments, business establishments here. What it means is that as everything becomes more digitalized, everything has moved online. There is a very strong demand for cybersecurity expertise. Well, some people may argue that you will need AI to fight AI. Yes, that is very true because, with human brains, we can only understand so much and, do so much in front of AI. But we also need people who can provide the commands that AI would understand to articulate the command, etc. So this is something that we have to brush up, I think. It is the people skills, it is the skills to make sure that AI would understand what we are talking about. And so, going forward, I do believe these are the key trends that we are seeing, both in relation to technology.
Maybe I want to quickly also tap on digital assets, as you mentioned,
Sure.
and I think Hong Kong is really leading in that regard. Not sure if there's already a working group formed or one coming up, but it's a huge trend, and all our clients, also banks as well as smaller family offices, they are faced with clients that already invest in digital assets. Some of them do it through other channels, but then it needs to be reflected in their portfolio that they're having with the custodian banks, and also onboarding such client, of course, with the specific regulatory requirements is always a topic. So how do you see that developing, and also Hong Kong's role in digital assets?
This is a very big topic, and I guess we can have another episode on this one. But as a matter of fact, Hong Kong at one point was going to only allow professional investors to trade digital assets. Was the consultation conclusions that came out in May 2021, when we thought that only professional investors would be permitted to trade digital assets. Now, FSDC has taken up the task of working it out with the industry. We now take it for granted many times that the industry is very outspoken. But back in 2021, it wasn't. So we consolidated the views of the industry, tried to map out the value chain and also how things are being done. And we work closely with the government and the regulator to come up with a strategy to deal with the emergence of digital assets. And the conclusion at that point in time that we provided to the government was that blockchain technology, or DLT, will be here to stay, and it might very well be the financial infrastructure for the future of finance. And as a result, Hong Kong should embrace it and to think of ways to regulate it pragmatically. It is not for us or in any of our interests to get the industry away from Hong Kong. And that was established very clearly by the government in its policy statement in 2022. And since then, we have rolled out a slew of regulations. The idea is not to regulate innovation. The idea is to set the regulatory framework out so that the industry would have the roadmap and understand what can be done and what should not be done. Now, the highlight of it will be that besides central bank digital currency, on the very left-hand side, which is purely government or regulator related, on the very right-hand side, we have digital asset that is, purely almost industry-driven. We also have something in the middle that is in relation to stablecoin regulations.
Yep, exactly.
It has already come into effect in August 2025. And going forward, I think Hong Kong has deployed and designed a very pragmatic approach to offer a range of products for the industry to consider. Why is it the case? You won't want to go to a supermarket that offers only cup noodles. You want to go to a supermarket that gives you water, soft drinks, cigarettes. Well, I don't encourage people to smoke, but you should table it in front of your customers, just so they have the liberty to pick and choose. And so, Hong Kong is really going down that road, and we want to allow people to use Hong Kong as a platform to take off the business from here and for opportunities on the mainland or in other markets.
Thank you so much for sharing, Rocky. Is there any working group currently in progress that you can share? Not that, of course, with all the details, as it's maybe still a bit confidential, but anything you want to share?
Oh, no. Like FSDC is very open and transparent in our operation. So there's nothing really secretive. I think going forward in the next couple of months, we will be publishing a few reports that are driven by very capable working groups and obviously my very capable colleagues on the policy research team. Now, hopefully we are going to publish a report in early November in relation to the commodities market. What we have come up with, not to just steal the light, but you will see us talking about going for trade before trading. So we go for international trade before wanting to develop us into a trading hub, so to speak. That's our mentality. Now, in the later part of November, we are trying to publish another report that is on a very different discipline, going to be about art collectibles and how that market can be embraced by the financial market and how it can bring about opportunities for the financial market. That is on the basis that you will agree that family office has been key element and key subject that is being discussed by the financial market in Hong Kong in the last 5 years. We have seen over the last decades that family offices and ultra high net worth individuals have been investing heavily in art pieces. Some of these art pieces may be more liquid than the others, but you think about the Picassos, the Van Goghs, and Basquiat, etc. All these art pieces are highly expensive. They are illiquid, but at a time or the other, when these asset owners want to pledge it to the banks or other financial institutions, it may or may not be able to do it here in Hong Kong these days. So that paper is going to look into it and see how we can build a bigger ecosystem in that regard. One of the other highlights that I wish to bring to your attention, Salomon, is that we are publishing a paper relating to the capital markets. As I set out in the beginning of this podcast, we do have a view on capital markets and how it should be developed. We are relying on this report to bring to the attention of different stakeholders different questions about how we should look at the subsectors and how we can build a more sustainable capital market. Nothing is cast in stone, but we should be able to publish that paper by the end of the year. So there are a lot of the other working groups, but I don't want to bore our audience with all the details. But I look forward to working very closely with Synpulse going forward, given the fact that you guys have extensive network and stakeholders from different disciplines.
Thank you so much for saying that, Rocky, and I'm looking forward to see these papers being launched, probably just around the fintech week here in Hong Kong, which would work very well. And of course, looking forward to also continue our collaboration.
Thank you.
It's been great to have you here. Where can the colleagues, the guests find you?
They can find me on LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
Yes. I think there should be only one Rocky Tung, like on LinkedIn, unless they are fake accounts. But otherwise, my office is in Central, so please do drop by for a coffee. Fraser, would drop by every now and then. But we look forward to having more friends to come join us for a chat.
Absolutely, and otherwise, of course, we will follow you in Hangzhou on your upcoming marathon. All the best for this.
Thank you.
Thank you once again for being here at the Pulse Check podcast, Rocky Tung.
Thank you. Much appreciated.